Jay-Z is standing his ground after the Alabama woman who recently filed a rape lawsuit against him and Sean Diddy Combs addressed the inconsistencies in her allegations. The rapper, whose real name is Sean Carter, calls out her attorney for submitting a quote false complaint against me in the pursuit of money and fame. As Carter tells E! News in a statement on December 13th, this incident didn't happen. True justice is coming. We fight from victory, not for victory. This was over before it began. His attorney Alex Spiro adds to the statement, "It is stunning that a lawyer would not only file a serious complaint without proper vetting, but would make things worse by further peddling this false story in the press." The women's attorney, Tony Busby, told NBC News that her case was previously vetted by another law firm and that his firm does their quote best to vet each claim they make. In the lawsuit, the woman alleges that Carter and Combs
Man, I can't keep looking at Jay-Z this long. My goodness, that man is ugly, man. I'm sorry, I just can't do it.
sexually assaulted her in 2000 at a New York after party for the MTV Video Music Awards. She says in her filing that she ran to a nearby gas station after the alleged attack and called her dad for a ride home. However,
hold on. Let me stop the story right here. So she goes to a gas station to call her dad for a ride home. Who took her to the party from the very beginning? You know, there's one thing that, you know, whenever I'm, having discussions and arguments, you have to, kind of stay on topic, right? And so the first thing we want to start with is, let's not start with the result. Let's start with how this happened and how did she get there? Right? What did her parents didn't know that she was going to this after party, right? And why are the parents not having any accountability for what has happened here, right? This is a little strange to me. I think that this is a little weird that the 13-year-old just out there doing whatever. Okay, cool. So how does she get there? She can't drive. She's 13 years old, right? And again, we have to start asking certain questions on how this all even began before we got to the party, because I know that people want to go and they want to say he did it. He's with Diddy, and I get it. But sometimes if some stories may not be true, he may be guilty with other things, right? Because I remember Foxy Brown was very young. I think she was 15. Jay-Z also was with Aaliyah as well. She was young. And so now those stories, there's concrete evidence of them kind of being together. And I could say, okay. But with this story, it just seems really, really weird. And all of a sudden now she's saying there's inconsistencies in her story less than a week later. Also, the part that really, really kind of made my antennas go up is she's suing him civilly and not criminally, right? Again, I think I gave this analogy on my last live stream. If someone breaks into your home, right, and you find that person, you don't go back to them and say, hey, I want to sue you for, $5,000, just because. No, I want you to go to jail. You broke into my house. My peace of mind is gone. My family is hurt. I want you to go to jail for what you did. And so this lady is doing a civil suit to get money and not charging him criminally. I would think differently if this was a criminal lawsuit, just in my opinion.
However, in an NBC News investigative report published December 13th, her father said he does not recall picking her up following the alleged incident. Furthermore, a celebrity the woman alleged to have spoken to at the party told NBC News that he was not in New York at the time. And while the inconsistencies does not necessarily mean the allegations are false, the woman said in a December 13th interview that she, quote, may have made a mistake in identifying. Adding, honestly, what is the clearest is what happened.
So if you made a mistake in identifying, when you made the initial suit in October, she didn't name him. How do you now name him all of a sudden? Yeah, it's Jay-Z. See, like that's the type of stuff, like I even said last week, I was like, I got to get more information from this story, because I mean, people do come after you for your money, and that's just what it is.
Happened to me and the route that I took to what happened to me. Not all of the faces there are as clear. Still, the woman stands by her overall allegations, with her attorney Busby saying that it's possible her father misremembered the night in question. Telling NBC News, his daughter explains that he was in no state to remember during that point in time due to personal issues he was having then. We are
What?
talking about a time frame more than 20 years ago. Meanwhile, an attorney for Combs, who's been accused of sexual assault in over 100 civil lawsuits, has said that the rap mogul maintains his innocence.
Again, civil lawsuits, right? Now, I think that Diddy did do it. There's enough evidence for me to say what he did to Cassie and things like that, and even with Shine and a lot of things going back. He's always been the person that comes out with no scars, and too many issues have happened around him. I think that there's enough evidence on him. Right now with Jay-Z and this one, I'm going to just hold back. I'm not saying that he didn't do it, but I'm also not going to just completely just say, yep, he's done.
In a statement to E! News on October 1st, he cannot address every meritless allegation in what has become a reckless media circus. That said, Mr. Combs emphatically and categorically denies as false and defamatory any claim that he sexually abused anyone, including minors.
All right, so that's that. So that's Jay-Z. You know, I just wanted to do a quick one on that. So that's what I think. I think that, you know, the story's starting to unravel. It's starting to look pretty bad. You know, all of a sudden they're asking the dad. The dad's saying, I don't know, that was 20 years ago. She's saying, well, I don't know if it was really him. And so this is where we are. And so, you know, let's just break this down real quick, right? And again, I had this conversation with someone yesterday, and I want to make an entire live stream on it. I'll see how I'm going to do it. But I'm gonna talk about it right now. When Bill Cosby got put down, okay, Bill Cosby was trying to buy NBC, right? Just follow me, right? I understand what you're gonna say. He's guilty, this and that. Follow me. He was trying to buy NBC. He was trying to make a big move, okay? Jay-Z right now is trying to buy a casino, right? Gotcha. Diddy was a part of one of the biggest liquor companies. His failure was because of his own pride, because he said that they were being racist, right? But again, they made him a billionaire, right? The liquor company. Jay-Z's trying to buy a casino right now. Little odd. Bill Cosby was trying to buy NBC, right? Michael Jackson at the time was also trying to do some big things before he died. Prince was doing the masters thing, making sure he owned all his masters. And it just seems something weird happens, unfortunately, every time these guys try to get into certain rooms that maybe, I don't want to say they're not supposed to be in, but maybe when they get too high up, maybe these people don't want them in the room.
Sensational.
Right? And a way to get them out of that room is to find the dirt and the skeletons in their closet, which they seem to all have. And it's very easy to say, boom, court of public opinion, we're going to ruin the reputation. We take them through court, and then they're going to lose the money that they were maybe trying to get, right? This is why right now with Drake, I think that he's made a costly decision of trying to sue UMG over the Kendrick thing. Because you're trying to sue the big companies that made you this multimillionaire, close to a billionaire, and you're basically biting the hand that feeds you. And what they do is say, fine, we'll play that game. And they have more money, more resources to be able to take you down. So it seems like every time these black men, and this is the only time you're going to hear me talking about like race like that, but it seems like every time you see these black men try to get to these higher levels, real high levels of ownership, buying these big networks, there's some things that end up coming out on them. It is pretty interesting on how this happens. Now with with Jay-Z, again, the reason why on face value that I think I was like, give me a second, was his response. He was an immediate response. I'm not giving you one red penny. I basically have to explain this to my kids. I didn't do this, and I'm going to fight you back in the court system, right? Normally, when we have these lawsuits, people are just settling because they don't want to go through the court system. It's just a bunch of money. Lawyers win, and they say, forget it. Jay-Z basically was saying, I'll go there with you. And I believe in the fact that this story is a lie, and I'm going to stand on it, and I'm coming after you. And then look what happens a week later. Oh, just a few inconsistencies in my story. I don't really know if that was him. So now what happens is anything credible about what she's saying? Is it another civil lawsuit? Yes. So Healer says there should be a statute of limitations, as this is too far from the supposed happening for anyone's memory to be accurate. Correct. And that's why there's a civil suit and not a criminal suit, because last year around this time, this is kind of when Diddy got the lawsuit from Cassie, right? And that lawsuit was because of the Survivors Act in New York. And there was a deadline on that Survivors Act to basically say, I think it would go 10 years back. But the deadline was November of 2023. You had to file that lawsuit before the deadline. And so that was kind of the statute of limitations. Now this lady's going 20-something years back, 24 years back. It's a little odd, just a little odd to me. Like I said, I'm not saying that this guy's a saint. I'm not a big Jay-Z fan, so it's not one of those things where it's like, oh, this is your hero and you just don't want to see him go down. No, Jay-Z is not my favorite, right? But I think fair is fair. And I can be objective when it comes to information, when it comes to politics, when it comes to, mostly a lot of things. I'm looking to look at both sides before I make a decision. And I just want to see a little bit more. And if this story comes out where there's like some substantial evidence that says that Jay-Z was there and he did that to her and everything lines up, cool. But I need to understand where were the parents? How did she get there? This is the year 2000. The internet's not popping. How did she know about this party? She can't drive. Why are the parents not being accountable? Are the parents the abusers? Somebody brought that up in my other live stream. Maybe they are. There's so many parents that are out here that are giving their kids to these celebrities. Justin Bieber, one of them. Why was Justin Bieber 13, 14 years old at Diddy's parties? Where was his I think he had his mom. Where was his mom? All these kids giving their kids over to R. Kelly, knowing that this guy had a problem with little kids. And that there was a payment and an incentive involved in doing this. Why do these parents give their children away for money and fame? It is weird to me, right? I have 2 little girls, and I would say, no way. I don't give a damn who you are and how much money you got. I'm not doing that. And that's the part that just kind of makes me weird, because I'm like, these parents, they just kind of slide under the radar. Let me read Uncle Chuck's message. He says, the money and the power that comes with it, change the way people live and make a lot of people jealous. I agree. The money and power are weird, because I think just in general, if you don't have good character, it just can make you do some really goofy things.